Okay, so we're going to the next chapter in our story. After the last chapter, many of you had to try drawing a map. I've included the map from the front of the book in today's notebook, so you can have a look and see how much you got right. If there is a right, it's a made-up place, so whatever you put is okay. So today's chapter is called Footprints. My blood runs cold. Ahead of me, I can see the footprints running alongside what's left of mine and Harvey's, right up the beach, the ridge, and the forest beyond. I suddenly remember the shadow I saw when we were sheltering from the storm in Dead Man's Cave. I picture the shadow person in my mind once more. Whoever it was ran fast and strong across this beach. There's someone else in the forest. Maybe it's someone who could help us. I look at my trainer sinking slowly into the huge, deep footprint. Or maybe it's not. My mouth is suddenly dry. I slurp, lovely word, slurp my trainer out of the footprint, staring nervously into the dark trees. Whoever made those huge footprints might still be up there now, in the darkness, out of sight, watching me from the forest fringe. Harvey comes out from behind the pinnacle. I watch him in the bright moonlight as he hobbles towards me over the stepping stones, still limping a little from where he fell. He hurt his ankle when he fell. Come over here, Harvey, I say quietly. I want to show him the footprint, see what he makes of them. He stopped still in his tracks. Wild-eyed and alert, he looks at me, finger to his lips, then his ears. Trees. What is it? I whisper. What can you hear, Harvey? Weirdly now, I'm almost hoping it is a wolf or a bear he's heard. Harvey's eyes widen even more. Then, from somewhere in the dim, I hear it too. Faint, but unmistakably there. It's that eerie call I heard before, the bird that sounds like a baby, the baby that sounds like a bird. Mosca, we say together. We scramble up the ridge and plunge together into the forest, tearing through the vines and creepers as fast as we can in the direction of the cries. Thorns rip up my clothes and scratch my skin, but I charge on through the knotted green, following the sound of the baby's cry. I clamber over a fallen log and into a little patch of dappled silver moonshine. Stop, commands Harvey by my side. I breathe hard. The air is heady with an almost unfamiliar sweetness. Looking around, I see where the smell is coming from. There's a weird kind of flower growing here, a bit like the wild honeysuckle that sways through our forest. But these flowers are massive and speckled and wrong, like tongue-out faces with wavering tentacles. I lean forward, panting softly in the too sweet air, listening for Mosca's cry. Nothing. Mosca, I breathe. Harvey doesn't answer. He's concentrating hard. I listen too. We're at the foot of a huge, pale-trunked tree. I stare up through the net of its branches. This tree's taller than any I've ever seen before in the forest. So much taller than even Gabriel's oak. My heart pounds. I peer nervously all around us. I imagine faces in the darkness, eyes watching unseen, wolves, shadow people, bears, babies. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a movement. It's movement. I spin around, my breath frozen in fear. Then I laugh at myself. It's just a rag snagged on a tree branch, flapping in the breeze like a cartoon ghost in a sheet. Silly. Oh. Then I realise it's not just a rag. I walk around the massive tree and untangle Dad's old tartan shirt from the low branch. Stroke it to my cheek, soft as a cuddle after a nightmare. But I'm confused. I remember covering up Harvey with Dad's shirt when he was laying unconscious down there on the beach. So then, how did it get all the way up here? I hold the shirt out in front of me as if it could tell me the answer. But it's just a shirt, slightly more bloody and muddy than previously. But ultimately, just a shirt. Could the storm wind have whirled it right up into the forest? I shake my head. Again, I think of the shadow I saw, the huge footprints on the beach. Something shrieks deep into the forest behind me, and my heart leaps. I spin round, but there's no one there. Of course there's no one there. Only Harvey. But my lip. How did Harvey end up where I found him in the first place? All bashed up and drowning in the river? I know he can't remember what happened. Oh. Something awful must have happened for him to end up that way. I stare at Harvey thoughtfully as I bundle the shirt into my backpack. Harvey, quietly, I'm just wondering, do you have any enemies? And we'll stop the reading there so that we can do the next chapter later. So I wonder what you made of that. Are you enjoying the story? When you're on your page, what I'd like you to do is think about which is your favourite bit of the story so far. Any bit you like? And then you can either write me a sentence, couple of sentences, or draw me a picture, my favourite bit so far. Okay?